How did one self-care yoga class end with me getting served papers in a public lobby while other parents watched? Why did my husband stay calm for months, then hit me with a legal plan that started the same day? I thought he was the villain, until the paperwork said otherwise. My name is Ottilie Mercer, and I used to believe I was the strongest person in our house. I worked all week at a dental office. I handled schedules, phone calls, and rude patients. At home, I wanted the same thing I gave at work: respect. I told myself respect should come back to me like a payment. Our son, Noah, was 6. That winter, he got sick in waves. He did not just have a small cold. His chest sounded tight, and his cough stayed. Some nights he slept, and some nights he sat up and cried because he could not breathe well. I said I cared, and I did, but I also felt trapped by it. I hated how the house smelled like medicine and warm air from the humidifier. My husband, Ethan, took the sickness seriously. He tracked Noah's temperature. He set alarms for medicine times. He kept a notebook by the couch. He did not complain out loud, but his face looked tired. He asked me to help more with the routine. I said I already carried the emotional weight. He asked what that meant. I said it meant I could not breathe either, in my own way. That morning, Noah had a fever again. Ethan drove us to the pediatric clinic. I sat in the back with Noah and tried to keep him calm. Ethan kept one hand on the wheel and one hand close to the medicine bag. He asked if I packed the inhaler. I said yes, like he was silly to ask. Then I checked my purse and saw I forgot it. I acted annoyed, like the purse was the problem, not me. Ethan did not shout. He sighed and said we could pick it up later. I heard the way he stayed calm, and it bothered me more than anger would. In the waiting room, there were other parents. Some looked at us with that quiet look, like they counted who was doing what. Ethan held Noah on his lap. He wiped Noah's nose. He asked the nurse questions when she called our name. I sat with my phone in my hand and looked busy. I told myself I was there too, so it counted. When the doctor came in, Ethan explained the symptoms clearly. He said how long the cough lasted. He said what medicine worked and what did not. The doctor asked me if Noah had allergies. I said I was not sure because no one told me anything. Ethan looked at me, surprised, like he expected me to know. I felt small for a second, so I pushed it away. I said Ethan liked to act like the hero. I said he did not need an audience. Ethan asked why I said that in front of the doctor. I said I was joking, and he took everything too hard. After the appointment, Ethan carried Noah to the car. Noah's head fell onto his shoulder. Ethan's coat had small wet spots from Noah's breath. Ethan told me the doctor wanted us to do a new plan for a week. He asked if I could pick up the prescription while he took Noah home to rest. I said yes, but I said it like I was doing him a favor. I told myself I deserved praise for simple things, because no one praised me anymore. At the pharmacy, the line moved slow. A toddler cried. An old man argued about insurance. I watched my phone screen and felt my anger rise, like the world was wasting my time. Ethan called, and I did not answer on the first ring. I wanted him to feel how it was when someone needed something from you all the time. He called again, and I answered. He asked if I was close. I said I was already at the counter. I was not. He asked if Noah could have water. I said yes, and I made my voice sound calm, like I was the steady one. When I got home, Ethan was on the couch with Noah. A cartoon played low. Noah looked pale. Ethan had 2 mugs on the coffee table, but they sat far apart, like a line between us. He asked if I got the inhaler. I said of course. He asked why the bag was crumpled. I said the pharmacy staff shoved it at me. Ethan checked the instructions and set another alarm. I heard his phone beep. I noticed his screen for a moment. It showed a reminder that said, meeting, personal. No name, just that. He swiped it away fast. I told myself it was work. I told myself not to care. Later, my sister Maribel texted me. She asked how Noah was. I said he was sick again, and Ethan was making it worse by being tense. She asked what I meant. I said Ethan acted like I did nothing, and it made the house toxic. Maribel said I needed to protect my peace. She told me to stop letting a man control my life. Her words felt like a warm blanket. I held them tight. My mother, Darla, called after dinner. She asked if Ethan was still being weird. I said he was acting like I could not be trusted. Darla said men did that when they felt weak. She said a wife should not have to beg for affection. I agreed fast. I did not tell her I had been cold too. I did not tell her I liked it when Ethan chased me, and I liked it less when he was tired. That night, Ethan slept on the edge of the bed because Noah coughed in his sleep and Ethan wanted to be ready. I lay on my side and stared at the ceiling. I told myself I was lonely. I told myself I was invisible. I thought about how I used to feel when Ethan looked at me like I mattered. Now he looked at Noah like that, and it made me jealous, which sounds bad, but I still felt it. The next day at work, I told my coworker Tori that home was hard. She asked if Noah was okay. I said he was, but I said Ethan made it harder. Tori asked if Ethan helped. I said he helped, but I said it was in a way that made me feel judged. I could hear myself shaping the story. I did it on purpose. If people saw me as the tired wife, they would not question my choices later. At lunch, I searched for stress relief near me. A yoga studio popped up. The photos looked clean and calm. I told myself I needed it for my mental health. I told myself a good mother must take care of herself too. I signed up for a gentle evening class. I added it to my calendar. The reminder showed up as Riverside 7:30 p.m. I stared at it like it was a door. When I got home, Ethan was wiping the kitchen counter with one hand while holding Noah's medicine spoon in the other. He asked where I was going that evening. I said I had an appointment for stress. He asked why now. I said because I was not a robot. He asked if I could go after Noah slept. I said I needed to go when the class was scheduled, and he should support me. Ethan nodded, but his face went flat. He turned to the sink, and I heard the water run. I noticed a folder on the counter labeled Utilities. Next to it sat a different folder labeled Bank. Ethan slid them into a drawer and closed it, and the drawer clicked like it had a lock. I told myself I was imagining things. I went to the studio that evening. I left while Noah rested and Ethan sat beside him. Ethan asked me to text when I arrived. I said yes. I did not text. I told myself he did not need updates like I was a child. I walked into the warm room and felt my shoulders drop. The instructor looked up. His name tag said Soren. He smiled at me like I was not a problem to solve. I thought for one clean second that maybe I deserved that smile more than Ethan deserved my loyalty. The next morning, Noah woke up with a wet cough and red eyes. Ethan carried him to the bathroom and ran the shower hot so the steam could help. I stood in the doorway and watched like a visitor. Ethan asked if I could call the clinic and ask about the new inhaler plan. I said he already knew the plan better than me, so he should do it. He asked why I sounded annoyed. I said I was tired too, and no one cared when I was tired. When Ethan left the room to find the thermometer, I picked up my phone. There was a new message from the yoga studio number. It was not a class reminder. It was from Soren. He said he noticed my shoulders were tight and my breathing was shallow. He said my body carried more than my words. It felt dramatic, but I liked it. I told myself it was just a teacher being kind. At breakfast, Ethan cut toast into small pieces for Noah. Noah barely ate. Ethan asked if I could stay home later so he could go to work for a few hours. I said my job mattered too. He asked if we could ask my mother for help. I said my mother was not our nanny. Ethan looked down at Noah and said we needed a plan, not pride. I heard the word pride, and it hit me like a small slap. I said Ethan loved to make me the selfish one. I went to work. I put on lipstick in the car like armor. In the open plan office, I told myself I was the normal person. I did not want to be the wife with a sick child and a tired husband. I wanted to be the woman people listened to. Tori asked how Noah was. I said he was still sick, but Ethan was acting like I caused it by being stressed. Tori asked what I meant. I said Ethan kept lists and alarms like I was failing a test. I said it made me feel watched. I did not say Ethan kept lists because Noah needed medicine on time. I said what helped my story. At lunch, Maribel texted me again. She asked if I went to yoga. I said yes, and it saved me. She said I should go more and I deserved it. She asked if Ethan supported it. I said he did, but he acted bitter. Maribel said men hated when women improved. I liked that idea. It made me feel like I was doing something brave, not just escaping. After work, I drove home and saw Ethan's car in the driveway. He was already there. That meant he left work early again. I should have felt grateful, but I felt challenged, like he was proving something. Inside, the house was quiet except for the humidifier. Noah was on the couch with a blanket. Ethan asked if I could watch Noah while he ran to the pharmacy for a refill. I said I had plans. He asked what plans. I said my class. He asked if I could skip one day. I said my class was how I stayed calm, and he should want a calm wife. Ethan stared at me, then nodded. He did not argue. That was new. He asked me to at least check Noah's temperature before I left. I said fine. Noah's forehead was warm. I told Noah I loved him, and I would be back soon. Ethan watched me say it. I did it louder than needed. I wanted Ethan to see I was not a bad mother. At the studio, the room smelled like clean mats and citrus spray. The lights were soft. People whispered like they were in a library. Soren greeted everyone at the door. When he saw me, he smiled again. He asked if I was doing okay. I said my home life was heavy. He said he understood. He said sometimes partners became roommates when stress came. He said it like it was a fact, and I let it land. During class, my phone buzzed twice. I did not look at it. I told myself if I looked, I would feel guilty, and guilt was a trap. After class, I checked the screen. Ethan had called. There was also a message preview. He asked if I could come home soon because Noah was coughing more. I stared at it and felt two things at once. I felt afraid, and I felt annoyed. I told myself Ethan always picked the worst time to pull me back. Soren walked over and asked if I wanted a quick breathing tip for panic. He said he could show me a simple thing in the hallway. I hesitated. I said I could not, because my husband would be upset. Soren said he was not asking me to do anything wrong. He said he was helping me. He asked if my husband monitored my phone. I said no, but I did not sound sure. Soren nodded like that proved something. He said I needed boundaries, and my life needed space. In the hallway, he spoke softly. He told me to breathe in for 4 counts and out for 6. He watched my face like he was reading it. He said I carried guilt in my jaw. He said it was not fair that I carried everything. I did not correct him. I let him believe that. I texted Ethan that class ran late and I was leaving now. It was a lie, but it was a small lie, and small lies felt safe. Ethan replied fast. He said Noah was sleeping again, but his breathing sounded rough. He asked if I could pick up children's electrolyte drinks on the way. I said yes. In the studio parking lot, Soren asked if I wanted to talk sometime after class, just to vent. He said he had a quiet room in the back, where people sometimes sat and talked about stress. I told him I did not know. He said I should not decide from fear. He asked if I wanted to feel like myself again. I said yes, and my voice sounded too honest. On the drive, I stopped at a supermarket. I bought the drinks and some snacks. At the checkout, I saw the time and felt a pinch of panic. If I got home too late, Ethan would ask questions. If I got home too early, he would not believe class was long. I stood there and calculated my own story like it was math. When I walked in, Ethan was in the living room with Noah. The medicine bag was open. The notebook was open. Ethan asked if I got the drinks. I said yes, and put them down like proof. He asked why I did not answer his calls. I said I was in class and could not be rude. He asked if I could have stepped out for 1 minute. I said he expected too much. He said it was about Noah, not him. I said he used Noah as a shield to win arguments. Ethan went quiet again. He asked me to sit and watch Noah while he took a shower. I said fine. Ethan walked toward the bedroom. When he passed the kitchen, I heard a small hum. It sounded like the shredder. Then it stopped. Ethan came back and said nothing. Later that night, Maribel posted a photo from an old girls' dinner. She captioned it with something about women carrying families. She tagged me. Comments appeared fast. People wrote that I looked tired and strong. One person wrote that husbands should do better. I liked those words too much. I showed Ethan the post like it was harmless. Ethan looked at it for 2 seconds and handed my phone back. He asked why our private life was online. I said it was just support. He said support did not need an audience. I said he did not understand because he did not have feelings like mine. In bed, Ethan faced away from me. I stared at the dark and replayed Soren's voice. I told myself I was not cheating. I told myself I was learning to breathe. I told myself Ethan's coldness pushed me there. I said it in my head until it sounded like truth. Noah got worse on a Thursday night. The cough was deep, and he woke up crying because his chest hurt. Ethan sat on the floor by the bed with the humidifier blowing warm mist. He held the medicine cup like it was fragile. He asked Noah to take small sips. Noah did, then turned his face away. Ethan asked me to bring the extra pillow and the saline spray. I brought them, but I moved slow on purpose. Ethan asked if I could stay up for 1 hour so he could rest his eyes. I said I had work in the morning too. He said he also had work, but he was still there. I said he did not need to act like a saint. He asked why I always made it a fight. I said because he always made me feel wrong, even when I tried. Around midnight, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Soren. He asked if I was okay. He said he could tell I carried stress in a way that could hurt my body. He said he could show me a short reset technique. I stared at the words and felt my heart move faster. Ethan looked up from the bed and asked who was texting. I said it was Maribel checking on Noah. Ethan asked why Maribel texted at midnight. I said she cared more than he thought. Ethan did not answer. He stood up and walked to the kitchen. I followed, not because I wanted to help, but because I did not want him to have a private moment without me seeing. In the kitchen, the light over the stove was on. The rest of the house was dark. I saw a sticky note on the counter that said, "Bring forms." It was in Ethan's handwriting. I asked what forms. He said it was for the clinic. I asked why he wrote it like a work task. He said he needed to remember things because he was tired. I said he was making our home feel like a system, not a family. He said the system kept Noah safe. His phone beeped with a soft sound I did not recognize. He turned the screen away fast. I caught a glimpse of a little red dot and a timer. It looked like a recording app, but I told myself I imagined it. Ethan asked if I could go back to Noah while he refilled the humidifier. I said yes, but my voice sounded cold. By 2 a.m, Noah finally slept in short waves. Ethan sat in the hallway outside the room with his back against the wall. He looked like he could fall over. I watched him and felt something ugly rise in me. If he looked like a hero, then I looked worse. I did not want that. In the morning, Ethan asked if I could call my job and take a personal day. I said my job was not flexible like his. He asked why I always talked like he had it easy. I said because he acted like my feelings did not matter. He asked if I could at least do the school call later. I said Noah was sick, so there was no school. Ethan said we still needed to tell them. I said he could do it since he loved phone calls and lists. I left for work anyway. In the car, I told myself Ethan liked being needed. I told myself he pushed me out by making home a place of stress. I repeated those words until they felt clean. At work, I told Tori that Noah was sick again, and Ethan was blaming me for not being present. Tori asked if Ethan said that. I said not in those words, but I said it was the meaning. Kara walked by and heard part of it. She asked if Ethan was still being controlling. I said he tracked everything I did. I said he questioned my time. I said he acted like my phone belonged to him. Kara said that sounded toxic. I let her say it. I even nodded like she was wise. At lunch, Maribel called. She asked if I was okay. I said I was exhausted and Ethan was making it worse. She asked how. I said he acted like a single parent to make me look bad. Maribel said I should stop letting him control the story. She said I should come out with her that weekend and remember I was still a person. I said I could not, because Noah was sick. Maribel said I needed a break even more then. She said I was not a machine. Her words felt like permission. That afternoon, Ethan texted me a photo of Noah sleeping with the humidifier beside him. Ethan asked if I could pick up a different medicine on the way home. I looked at the message and felt annoyed again. I told myself I was always being pulled. I replied that I would try, but I added that he needed to stop treating me like staff. Ethan replied that it was not about me, it was about Noah. I did not answer after that. On the way home, I drove past the yoga studio. I told myself I would not stop. Then I stopped. I parked and sat for a minute with my hands on the wheel. I told myself I needed to learn how to calm down so I could be a better mother. That sounded responsible, so I held it tight. Soren was there, even though it was not class time. He was cleaning mats. He saw me through the glass and opened the door. He asked if I wanted a quick reset exercise. I said I only had 10 minutes. He said 10 minutes was enough to change a day. I followed him into the quiet room in the back. He asked me to sit and breathe. He asked me what my home felt like. I said it felt like judgment. He asked who judged me. I said my husband did, and I said it like Ethan was a boss, not a tired father. Soren listened like I was important. He said I deserved care too. He said a woman could not pour from an empty cup. He asked if my husband ever asked how I felt, not just what I did. I said no, even though Ethan asked often. I just did not count it when it did not sound the way I wanted. My phone buzzed again. Ethan called. I stared at the screen and let it ring. Soren looked at it and asked if I wanted to answer. I said if I answered, it would turn into a fight. I told myself I was protecting my peace. I declined the call and texted Ethan that I was at the pharmacy line and it was slow. When I finally got home, it was already dark. Ethan opened the door before I knocked. He asked where I was. I said the pharmacy was crowded. He asked why the bag only had one item when he asked for two. I said they were out. Ethan looked at me for a long second and then stepped aside. He did not argue. He asked me to wash my hands and check on Noah. Noah was awake and watching a cartoon with the volume low. He smiled when he saw me, then coughed. I sat beside him and put my arm around his shoulders. Ethan watched from the doorway. He asked if I could stay with Noah while he made soup. I said yes. Then I added quietly that I was doing my best and he needed to stop acting like I was failing. Ethan said he was not acting. He was worried. I said worry could still be control. Later, in the kitchen, I saw Ethan's laptop open on the table. The screen showed rows and columns with dates. There were no titles I could see, just neat lines like a private record. Ethan closed it when he noticed me looking. He said it was for bills. I said it looked like a report on me. He asked why I assumed that. I said because he had been cold and strange. Ethan said he was tired. Then he added that he had a meeting personal tomorrow at 9 a.m. I asked who the meeting was with. Ethan said it was something he needed to handle for the family. I asked if it was about me. He said it was about stability. I laughed and told him he sounded dramatic. Ethan did not laugh back. That night, Maribel sent me a link to a rooftop bar event for the weekend. She said I needed air and music. I said I did not know if I could. She said Ethan could handle one night like he always did. I stared at the message while Noah coughed in the next room, and I told myself one night would not change anything. Friday came fast. Noah was a little better, but not well. His cough still cut through the house like a sharp sound. Ethan stayed home again. He told his job he would work from his laptop between medicine times. I heard him say it on the phone in a calm voice. He did not sound like a victim. That made me want to make him one. Maribel sent me reminders about the rooftop bar event all day. She said I needed music and air. She said my life could not be only coughs and lists. I told Ethan I wanted to go for 2 hours. He asked if it was the right night. I said Noah was stable, and Ethan acted like I was not allowed to breathe. He asked me to text when I arrived and when I left. I said that sounded controlling. He said it was for safety. I said safety was his favorite excuse. Before I left, I stood by Noah's bedroom door. Ethan sat inside with Noah and held the medicine spoon. Noah asked if I was going out. I said I was going to see Aunt Maribel and come back soon. Ethan looked up and asked if I could stay until Noah fell asleep. I said I would be late and it would be my fault again. Ethan said he did not say that. I said he did, with his face. At the bar, the air smelled like perfume and cold night wind. The city lights looked like a stage. Maribel hugged me and said I looked tired. Kara was there too, with 2 other friends. Kara asked where Ethan was. I said he stayed home with Noah like he always did, because he needed to feel important. Kara said Ethan sounded dramatic. I said he was dramatic and controlling, and I said it like a joke so people would laugh. They did. Maribel took a photo of me with a drink. She asked me to smile big, like I was free. I smiled. She posted it fast and tagged me. Comments started coming in while I was still holding the glass. People wrote that I deserved a break. People wrote that motherhood was hard and husbands should step up. I watched the words like they were proof I was right. My phone buzzed. Ethan called. I stared at the screen and felt heat in my chest. If I answered, I would have to hear Noah cough in the background. If I did not answer, I could pretend I was still a person. I did not answer. I texted that the music was loud and I would call soon. Kara leaned close and asked if Ethan was tracking me. I said he tried. I said he asked for updates like I was a teenager. Kara said that was a red flag. I nodded. I did not tell her I had not answered his calls for days. I did not tell her I lied about where I was. I let her call him the problem. On the way home, I called Ethan from the car. He answered on the first ring. He asked if I was okay. I said yes. He asked if I could speak softer because Noah was sleeping. I heard the humidifier in the background. I heard the soft beep of an alarm. Ethan asked what time I would be home. I said 10 minutes. It was more like 20. He said, okay, and his voice stayed flat. When I walked in, Ethan was in the kitchen rinsing a medicine cup. He asked if I had fun. I said yes, and I said it like a challenge. He asked if I saw Maribel. I said yes. He asked if Maribel posted photos. I said yes, because she supported me. Ethan asked why support had to be public. I said because people understood me better than he did. Ethan did not argue. He dried the cup, placed it in a neat row, and then wiped the counter again, like order was the only thing he could control. The next day, Noah was well enough for a short school visit to pick up a missed worksheet packet. Ethan said he could drive. I said I would go because the teachers liked me. Ethan asked to come too. I said he did not need to. I said it would look like he was supervising me. Ethan said he just wanted to be involved. I said he was always involved, and it was suffocating. At the school pickup line, parents stood close with coffee cups. Some smiled at me, some looked away. I heard a whisper and my name. I saw one mom glance at my phone like she knew what was on it. I told myself they were jealous. I told myself they did not understand my stress. A parent I barely knew asked how Noah was. I said he was better, because Ethan finally followed my advice and stopped being anxious. The parent nodded like that made sense. Ethan was not there to correct me. That felt like power. That afternoon we had a community center fundraiser for Noah's class. It was crowded and loud. Tables had baked goods and raffle tickets. Ethan came with Noah, holding his hand the whole time. Noah wore a small mask because his cough still came and went. Ethan greeted teachers politely. He did not act angry. He looked calm in a way that made me look more unstable. Cara found me near the snack table and asked if I wanted to do a funny video. She said it would be mom life content. I said yes because I wanted to control the room. She filmed while I talked. I said Ethan could not handle pressure, so I handled real life. I said he loved to act like a hero, but he was just scared. People laughed. Some laughed too hard. I enjoyed it. Ethan stood a few steps away, still holding Noah's hand. He heard the laughter. He did not shout. He did not step in. He looked at Noah and asked if Noah wanted to go get a sticker from the teacher. Noah nodded and walked away with him. Ethan did not look at me again for a while. Later, Ethan came back to the table and asked me to stop filming our family in public. I said I was not filming him, I was filming my life. He asked why my life had to make him look bad. I said if he looked bad, it was because he acted bad. He asked what he did that was bad. I said he made me lonely. Ethan said loneliness was not a license. I asked what that meant. He said it meant feelings did not erase choices. I told him he was trying to sound smart so people would side with him. On the drive home, Noah fell asleep in the back seat. Ethan drove with both hands steady on the wheel. I watched his jaw move like he was holding words back. His phone screen lit up once on the console. I saw a notification that said, "File uploaded successfully." He tapped it away fast. I asked what that was. He said it was work. I said he was lying. Ethan said nothing. At home, he carried Noah inside. He asked me to warm the humidifier water. I did it, but I did it loudly, banging the lid like I wanted him to react. He did not. He tucked Noah in and closed the door gently. When he came back to the kitchen, he opened a drawer and took out a new key on his ring. I asked where it came from. He said it was for something he needed. I asked what. He said it was for stability. I rolled my eyes and said he was being dramatic again. Ethan looked at me and said, very quiet, that I was the one making our home a stage. Then he walked away, and his calm felt louder than any fight. My phone felt heavy for days after the fundraiser. I kept replaying the laughter and Ethan's face. I told myself he deserved it. I told myself he made me perform like that because he never defended me or loved me the way I needed. Noah had a good morning on Monday, then crashed again by evening. His cough returned like it never left. Ethan set the living room up like a small clinic. He put the humidifier near the couch. He laid out medicine syringes in a neat line. He moved quietly, like noise could break Noah. Ethan asked me to stay home that night and help with the routine. I said I had already promised myself I would not lose my whole life to sickness. He asked what that meant. I said it meant I needed 1 hour for my body and mind. He asked if that 1 hour had to be when Noah's breathing sounded like that. I said he was using fear to control me. He said he was using facts. I told myself I would just go to the studio, stretch, and come home fast. I did not say that Soren had been messaging me more. I did not say that his words felt like air. Before I left, I stood in Noah's doorway again. Noah was half asleep. Ethan sat on the edge of the bed and rubbed Noah's back in small circles. Ethan asked me to bring back electrolyte drinks if I stopped anywhere. I said sure, like it was a simple request and not a chain. On the drive, Soren texted me first. He said he had an opening for a private session and it could help me release pressure. I stared at the message at a red light. My hands tightened on the wheel. I told myself private sessions were normal. I told myself it was still yoga, still self-care. At the studio, the main room was empty. The lights were dim. The air smelled like clean mats. Soren greeted me in a softer voice than before. He asked how my family was. I said my son was sick, and my husband acted like I was not allowed to have needs. Soren said that sounded lonely. I said it was lonely. I did not add that Ethan was at home doing the hard parts. I framed it like Ethan chose to suffer just to make me look bad. Soren led me to the quiet back room again. He asked me to sit and breathe. He asked me what I wanted, not what I owed. I said I wanted to feel desired and calm. He said those were human needs. He asked if my husband met them. I said no. I said Ethan only cared about schedules. It was not true, but it felt true in my mouth. My phone buzzed. Ethan called. I watched it ring. Soren looked at the screen and asked if I wanted to answer. I said if I answered, it would become a fight, and Noah would cry, and it would all be my fault. Soren said I was allowed to protect my peace. I declined the call and texted Ethan that I was in a pharmacy line again. Soren told me to lie back and relax my shoulders. He spoke like he was guiding a class, but it felt more personal. He said I did not have to carry guilt that was not mine. He said I deserved softness. I remember his hand on my shoulder for a moment. Then, the room felt far away from my real life. I crossed a line I had been pretending was not there. I told myself it happened because Ethan pushed me there. I told myself it was not cheating if I had been starving for attention. When I left, my hair was messy in a way I did not like. I fixed it in the car mirror and stared at my own eyes. I looked guilty. I told myself guilt was just old programming. I told myself a woman could choose herself. At home, the house was too quiet. The humidifier hummed. I heard Noah cough from his room. Ethan opened the door before I used my key. He asked where I was. I said the pharmacy was slow. He asked why I smelled like citrus spray instead of medicine aisles. I said the pharmacy had cleaners. He asked why my phone location showed the yoga studio area. I froze for half a second. Then I laughed and said, of course it did, because I told him I went to yoga. Ethan said I did not tell him that tonight. I said he forgot because he was stressed. Ethan stared at me, then looked down at his hands. He asked if I could at least wash up and sit with Noah while he cleaned the nebulizer parts. I said yes, but I said it like he was lucky I agreed. In Noah's room, Noah slept with his mouth open. His cheeks were flushed. I sat beside him and watched him breathe. For a moment, I felt sick with myself. Then I pushed it away. I told myself Ethan was the reason I needed comfort elsewhere. The next morning, Ethan did not argue with me. He spoke in short sentences. He asked what time I left work. I said the normal time. He asked if I had any extra appointments. I said no. He nodded like he was checking boxes. At lunch, a charge notification popped up on my phone. It was from the studio. The amount was higher than usual. My stomach dropped. I told myself it was for a private session, which was true, but not in the clean way I wanted it to be true. I deleted the notification, then realized deleting did not erase the bank record. That evening, Ethan stood at the kitchen counter with his laptop open. He was not watching videos or news. He was on a plain screen with rows and columns again. When he heard my steps, he did not slam it shut this time. He just tilted the screen slightly away. I asked what he was doing. He said he was organizing things. I asked what things. He said household, utilities, bank, school. I pointed to the separate folders on the counter. One said household. One said bank. One said school. I asked why he needed folders now. He said because we were not stable. I said he was overreacting. He said he was preparing. I tried to flip it. I asked if he was planning to leave me. He said he was planning to protect Noah. I said that was the same thing. Ethan asked if I heard myself. I said he was twisting my words. He said he was listening to them. My mother called while we were still in the kitchen. I put the call on speaker, on purpose. Darla asked how Noah was. Ethan answered first and said Noah's cough was back. Darla asked why I sounded tired. I said because I carried everything and Ethan judged me. Darla said a husband should not track his wife like a project. Ethan asked what tracking meant. Darla said asking for times and receipts was controlling. I looked at Ethan as she spoke, like I was winning. Ethan did not fight with her. He waited until the call ended. Then he asked me, very calmly, if I wanted to keep turning our family into a debate for other people. I said I needed support. He asked why support always meant humiliation for him. I said he humiliated himself by acting weak. Ethan nodded once, like he accepted that I would not stop. Later, I found a new key on his ring again. I asked what it was for. He said it was for a storage unit. I laughed and asked what he needed to store. He said, still calm, that he needed to store important things safely. I asked if he meant he did not trust me. He said trust was not a feeling anymore. It was behavior. I tried to make him explode. I said he was acting like a lawyer. He said he was acting like a father. I said he was cold and he pushed me away. Ethan looked at me for a long time, then spoke in the flattest voice I had ever heard from him. He said he would not fight with me in circles anymore. He said he would handle it properly. The next day felt too normal at first. Noah coughed at breakfast, but he still ate a few bites. Ethan packed his small medicine bag with the calm hands he used now. He asked me to keep my phone on in case the school called. I said the school did not call me anymore because he trained them to call him first. He did not argue. He only said Noah needed consistency. I went to work and tried to hold my head high. In the elevator, I practiced my face like I was stepping into a meeting, not into consequences. I told myself Ethan was bluffing. I told myself he liked drama, and this was just another way to scare me back into place. In the lobby of the office tower, I stopped to fix my hair in the glass reflection. My phone buzzed with a message from Maribel. She asked if Ethan was still acting weird. I typed that he was being controlling again, then deleted it. I did not want my words on record if Ethan was truly acting like a lawyer, like I said. A woman in a plain coat walked toward me and asked if I was Ottilie Mercer. I said yes, and asked who she was. She said she had documents for me. I laughed like it was a mistake. She asked me to confirm my name again. I did, because people were walking around us and I did not want to look nervous. She handed me a thick packet and asked me to sign a small form. I asked what it was. She said it was proof of delivery. I felt my face get hot. I looked around and saw 2 co-workers near the coffee kiosk. One of them stared, then looked away fast. I asked the woman what the papers were. She said she could not give advice. She said I could read them. She waited, calm, like this was her normal morning. I stepped to the side and opened the packet with shaking fingers. I saw the words petition and temporary orders, and my stomach dropped like I missed a stair. I saw our names printed in black. I saw a section about the home. I saw a section about parenting time. I saw a date at the top and realized Ethan did not start this suddenly. He started it while I was still telling people he was just moody. I walked back to the woman and said, there had to be a mistake. She said she only served what she was given. I asked if Ethan was trying to take Noah from me. She said she could not discuss it. She nodded once like she was sorry, then walked out of the lobby doors and into the street. I stood there with the packet pressed against my chest like it could hide me. My phone buzzed again, but I did not look. I went up to my office and sat at my desk without turning on my computer. Tori asked if I was okay. I said it was nothing, just paperwork. She asked what kind. I said Ethan was being dramatic and trying to scare me. I said it loud enough for the next desk to hear. I wanted witnesses for my version before anyone read the real one. I skimmed the pages with my finger sliding down lines. It listed school calls, clinic visits, pickup records, and pharmacy receipts. It even mentioned a video clip from the community center fundraiser. My throat tightened when I saw that. I had laughed while someone filmed. Now the laughter looked like evidence. I called Ethan. He did not answer. I called again. He texted back that he would only communicate in writing unless it was about Noah's immediate health. I stared at the message and felt insulted, like he was demoting me. I wrote that he was being cruel. He replied that he was being careful. I called my mother. Darla answered and asked why I sounded breathless. I said Ethan served me papers at work like a monster. Darla asked what papers. I said he was trying to ruin me. She told me to come to her house and calm down. She said Ethan was trying to control the story. I said I would not let him. I opened the packet again and found a page that told me where to go that afternoon for intake and scheduling. It was not a dramatic courtroom scene, but it was real. It had instructions and times. It felt like a machine turning. I left work early and drove there with my hands tight on the wheel. The building was plain and bright, with signs that pointed to different windows. In the lobby, people sat in plastic chairs, holding folders. A young father bounced a baby on his knee. An older woman whispered into her phone. I felt exposed, like everyone could see the word cheater on my forehead, even though it was not written anywhere. When my name was called, I stepped to the counter. The staff member spoke in a practiced tone and asked me to confirm my address and contact information. I answered like a good student. She slid a form toward me and pointed to a section about temporary arrangements. I asked what exclusive use of the home meant. She said it meant one person stayed there for now. I asked who. She tapped the line with her pen. It was Ethan. I asked if that meant I could not go inside my own kitchen. She said the order was effective immediately. She said I could arrange to pick up personal items at a scheduled time. She pointed to another line about parenting time. It described Noah's routine and medical schedule, and it listed Ethan as the primary caretaker for now, with my time set in specific blocks and exchanges in public places. I felt my mouth open, but no sound came out. I tried to laugh. I said Ethan was doing this because he was jealous and insecure. The staff member did not react. She only repeated that the temporary plan was in place today. I looked down at the paper again and saw the word immediately, like a stamp on my life. I thought of Noah's bed, the humidifier, the medicine alarms,